What's up, Tamers? It's me, Dr. Random, or Tom, with the Digital Gate, or as you might know us from, the Tamers podcast, where me and my friend James, or VG Vizzy, talk about the Digimon card game. It's just me today, and I'm going to be going through something that's a bit interesting, I think. We're going to go through the Banlist predictions for Japan. Because recently today on Twitter, we had an announcement from the people at Bandai saying there is going to be a ban list. There is going to be a new ban list announcement in mid-January, and something for the English card game is going to happen not too long after. So I'm thinking I need to, throw my hat into the ring and potentially throw some predictions out there for what could happen, what I'd like to see happen, that sort of thing. So yeah, here we go with that. So my first thought was, let's include all the cards that Bandai had on their hit list. So they first had Ice Wall, then they had this card here, Korikakumon, on their hit list at Tomihime, Savior Hookmon, Jet Sylphimon, Reinforcing Memory Boost, and Mega Digimon Fusion. These were all on Bandai's initial hit list. These are cards that are currently in Japan, causing quite a bit of issues, and I'm going to tell you why. Firstly, we're going to start with Ice Wall. Ice Wall is a very good card. There is no way around this. Ice Wall is an incredible, incredible card. With its just innate ability to just go, okay, I play this Ice Wall now. Now my opponent really can't do anything, because they're going to swing in and go, okay, you lose 2 memory. That's affected what I'm going to do for my entire turn. I can't do massive multi-attacks because you're slowing them down. It's quite a powerful card, and if you check it in security, it is basically another copy of Hammerspark in your security, which is incredible, because Hammerspark being seen in security can literally win you games, and it has done for me in the past as well. So I think Ice Wall potentially is going to be on the hit list. Blue is making quite a bit of a splash, particularly with the blue hybrid deck. The blue, I think it's Magnamon or something like that. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But that card, in of itself, in that whole deck strategy, is making Ice Wall a very, very powerful card. But the problem is, with Ice Wall, I feel it's also kind of a check and a balance for hybrid decks, as hybrid decks are very, very fast. Hybrid base decks are incredibly fast. We'll get onto that with Jet Sylphy later on, and with the Korikakumon, I think is the name, again, top of my head. These cards, again, check and balance for the hybrids. Hybrids, you can just outright win a game out of nowhere because you're on 0 security, and the opponent's like, okay, I have a tamer out, I have a little bit of memory to play with, okay, drop a hybrid on my tamer, swing in, win the game. Something that initially when we started playing Digimon, we didn't have, but now it's there. It's something in the back of your mind that you've got to constantly think about. Oh god, I'm on 0 security, there's a tamer on their side of the board, and I've got no blockers. I could just straight up die. They've got no Digimon on board, but there's a tamer. That's it. I could lose from here. So, Ice Wall potentially hit to 1 or a 2 of. Maybe they might cut it down to 2. I can't see them outright banning this card, as, again, it's a stop. It's a little stopgap for hybrids and other really fast decks. But again, in the decks that run it, they're quite fast already. Blue decks in general are very, very fast. So it's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one, is Ice Wall. Very interesting one to start off with. The next one is Korikakumon. Korikakumon is, again, another hybrid. It's hybrids. Hybrids are the thing to watch at the moment, it seems. Again, you may digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your blue tamers. If the tamer is a level 3 blue Digimon for a memory cost of 2, like with other hybrids, well, most of the hybrids, but this is a special one. Now, when digivolving, if a card with hybrid in its traits, or Tomihime, is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block for the turn. So this goes quite well with the card that we're going to talk about in a moment, the tamer, Tomihime. And again, it's another quick hybrid. It's a quick hybrid card, and the fact that it's like, okay, I'm just going to stop you from attacking really quickly, it's pretty good, and it gives you basically another copy of Lobomon, I feel, anyway. another copy of Lobomon, as it'll mostly cost 2 most of the time, because you will only play it on Tomihime. You won't play it on any other tamer. Well, you play it on any blue tamer, and it's essentially a Lobomon, and it's a Lobomon with a good effect. So it's an interesting one, it's Korikaku. It's a very interesting one. I'm not personally too sure on Bandai actually getting rid of this. I don't think they'll get rid of it. Not by any stretch. And I'm struggling to see why they would put it to 1. Again, I'm not too well versed in the Japanese game at the moment. It might change for us, because I've seen a few hybrid blue lists, and they are pretty good. However, they're not cray-cray. There's a deck later that I'm going to mention, like, at the end of this, that I'm certain is on a watch. It will be on a watch list, definitely. As soon as we get it over here, it's going to be on a watch list before it gets over here. It's already doing things. Anyway, so Tomihime, security. Play this card without paying its memory cost, like all tamers do. But it's an effect in the main text box of the card, not in the underneath part where you normally find it, because it's got inheritable. On play, trash the bottom 3 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. That's a solid Digivolution card remover. Just 3 from the bottom of 1, boom. Most of the time, that's just making something have no sources, or just getting rid of sources, and most of their sources entirely. That's pretty good. Inheritable. When attacking once per turn, one of your opponent's Digimon without Digivolution cards can't attack a block until the end of next turn. Just automatic stun. Just on one swing, automatic stun. I feel this could be a winner. This could be hit to 1. Because of that last part. Like, combining the on-play and the last part together makes this card more than likely is always going to be live. Whereas any other ones, not so much. This is going to be live quite a lot of the time, I feel. But this one, again, is one of those I'm not too sure on. I'm not too well versed with this specific deck. However, I am very well versed in Savior Hookmon. Oh boy, we have things to talk about with this card. So, Savior Hookmon is the thing that makes the Jesmon deck run. If you don't have this in the Jesmon stack, your deck is done. It's most of the time you're not going to win that game because you don't have Savior Hookmon. Savior Hookmon is that critical to the Jesmon strategy. It is really that critical. It feels though it adds that little extra punch and it gets you to your Systemon much quicker. Kind of crazy. It is genuinely kind of crazy. And normally Jesmon's hitting for what, like 2 or 3 every time. So it adds to that level of OTK strategy that Jesmon has essentially become. Whereas originally when I first looked at the deck, I thought it was just going to be a random good stuff deck. But apparently it is just going to be a OTK deck. It's going to just stick with OTK because that's what it's good at. And it is really good at because of Savior Hook. I think Savior Hookmon could be outright banned. But if they outright ban it, then the Jesmon deck is just dead. The Jesmon deck dies. No one will play Jesmon anymore because it's not as crazy good as it used to be. So it could be outright banned, but if it does, they kill the deck. So potentially, maybe a 2-er, maybe hit to 1 like Argamon. But again, what do you replace it with? Volcdramon is already played in the deck for the level 5 slot. So there might be something else you put in there. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see something. It all depends on if that gets hit. Now, Jet Sylphimon. This card. I love this card. I am excited for this card. I'm genuinely really excited for this card because it looks fun. However, I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. It is insanely strong. Like, ridiculously powerful in the correct deck. And it is in the correct deck. It's in yellow. And yellow got all their little hybrids now from set 7. Which we're going to get, I think, middle of February for us over in the TCG. But in Japan, this card has done dirty things with a deck. It's essentially become yellow recover forever. And yellow recover forever recovers forever, essentially, with this card. Because of its powerful effect. When one of your Digimon with a Tamer card in its Digivolution cards digivolves into this card in your hand, reduce the memory cost by 2. In the decks you're playing, you are always digivolving from a Tamer. Always. So it's always going to cost 1 to digivolve from this, which is powerful in of itself. So you're paying 1 to draw 1. But then its digivolving effect, if a card with a hybrid in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, which it obviously is because you need a Tamer in there to reduce the cost, you recover 1 as well. So you're paying 1 to draw 1, recover 1, and have a 7k body on the board. It is insanely powerful. It is the best recovery effect in the game. No hands down. Like, no contest. This card is the best recovery card in the game. And it is only second to the next card, Reinforced Memory Boost, as you can see in the corner. But this card, I can honestly see going to 1. If it goes to 1, I'm unhappy about it, because I really want to play this deck at full power. It's my thing. I like having a lot of health in a game. I like being safe in that regard. But again, elephant in the room, it's too strong. It's far too good. It is really good. So it's going to go to 1, or God forbid it'll get banned. But then Bandai's then got to do the thing of, oh, now Yellow doesn't have a level 5 hybrid anymore, so they've got to print something to replace it effectively. Because once this gets banned, it is never coming back, because it's just that good. It will stay good, I think, for the game's lifespan. If this game sticks around for a while, this card will just stay good forever. So, the next card, Reinforced Memory Boost. This card, I can feel why it's on the watch list. I mean, adding something straight to your security and having a card in your hand for 6 is pretty good. But then the delay gain 3 memory, that's also pretty good. Checking this in your security is great, because you're like, cool, I get an extra 3 memory on my turn. Dope. But it's the fact that it's another technically a recovery card, but you've got choice in that recovery, so limitedly. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Again, 1 or 2. I can see it going to 1 or 2. It's not going to get banned. This card can't get banned, or shouldn't get banned. But yeah, I feel like it's going to go to maybe 1 or 2. 1 or 2, definitely 1 or 2. Mega Digimon Fusion. Mega Digimon Fusion. This fucking card. Pardon my French, but this fucking card. My God. It is good. It harkens back to the days of Hidden Potential Discovered. And for all those who don't remember, Hidden Potential Discovered basically does the same thing, but for green, specifically. And green has some very powerful cards. But this card in particular is very strong. It is very strong. For those of you who haven't read this card's effect, main. The next time one of your Digimon digivolves from level 6 to level 7 this turn, reduce the cost of the Digivolution by 6. At the end of the turn, return the Digimon that digivolved with this effect to the bottom of its owner's deck. Trash all of the Digivolution cards of that Digimon. Have you ever heard of Lilith Loop? Yeah, this card is abused to all hell in Lilith Loop, and again, is abused in the yellow hybrid strategy in set 7 and set 8, because you build up from there and then you get onto Susanomon. It's disgusting. It's really powerful effect. You can use it to essentially play a swart for free, and then you mill the top, bring out more dudes, do stuff in crazy Lilith Loop fashion. It's really powerful for that. Other decks abuse this. Since Hidden Potential Discovered is at 1, this card should be at 1. A card that does the same, near enough the same thing to another card that is already on the list should be on the list. It should be on the list. I feel, hand on heart, this should be on the list. This really should be on the list. Because Hidden Potential Discovered's on the list, therefore this should be on the list. It's in the same vein. Now, we're getting to the cards that I've talked with some people about, and I think they should be, well, they think they should be on the list. or they should come off the list. Well, we've only got 2 cards on the list at the moment, so you can kind of see which one we think should come off the list if Mega Digimon Fusion's coming on the list. Argomon. Oh, my poor boy Argomon. Hit so young for us in the TCG and the OCG. They had this card for ages. For us, we had him for 2 minutes and then he was hit to 1. He's really good. Like, no word of a lie. He's really, really good. However, Angelwoman's around. Which Angelwoman? This one. This Angelwoman is still in the game. Yet Argomon is at 1. That Angelwoman is at 4. The effect does near enough the same thing. Yes, it doesn't have the requirement of your security must be 3 or less. But this guy has him at suspended. Digisorption 3. It's a really good card, I'm not gonna lie. But with how quick the game is becoming, or has become, should I say, I don't think this would do anything. I genuinely think bringing this back to 4 wouldn't really change much in the grand scheme of things. Green isn't doing that much. Green's okay. It's a solid tier 2. Maybe 1.5 if you get the good sequence right, and the right opponent, but Green's not doing much. I think it needs this tool back to kind of get a little bit up there again. I genuinely think this could come back and the format wouldn't really change, if at all. Now, one that some people have said, and I'm on the fence about, Zwart Defeat. Getting rid of Zwart Defeat, or putting it to 1, or to 2. To putting it to 2, I can kind of see. Every time I see Zwart Defeat in my security, I'm a very happy man. I'm a very happy man, because I'm like, cool, 13k body, for free. And if they deal with it, cool, I'm killing one of their things. Like, I play D-Brigade. This card, I'm happy to see it any time of the day. Especially when I have a Dartdramon on board. When I can drop a Dartdramon, go swing into that, cool, Digivolve, delete that Tamer that I'm scared about. It's a really, really solid card. 2. I'm saying could go to 2. Could go to 2. To 1, I think that's a bit overkill. I genuinely think that's a bit overkill putting it to 1. Because if you put it to 1 and you just see the 1 in your hand, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I know I'm never seeing this in my security, ever. And the one time you do see it in your security, it's become very much a, oh, they've seen it in their security, it's on the board. Great. Now I've got to deal with their 1 Zwart Defeat. That I didn't expect because it's at 1. It's to harken to another game, Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I used to play. Max C. Max C at 1 became a card that, oh, they've seen Max C. They win because they've seen it. They've seen their 1-of copy. I feel Zwart Defeat could become that card where they've seen their 1-of Zwart Defeat in their security. Awesome. They are going to win the entire game because they've just miraculously found that 13k body for free. At the moment, you can kind of think and process an idea of, okay, I'm playing against this deck. I should be seeing maybe 1 Zwart Defeat in their security, maybe 2 if I'm unlucky, and they might have some in hand. I can plan for that. You can't plan for a random 1-of that just goes, okay, now I'm here. You can't plan for that. You really can't plan for that. Now, one of my friends didn't red pill me on this, but this is their opinion. They genuinely think Omnimon, the Blitz one, from BT5, could be an interesting hit. Why? Why could this card, of all cards, be an interesting hit? Well, their reasoning for it was quite simple. Jesmon. Don't get rid of Savior Hook. Get rid of Omnimon. Or put Omnimon to 1. Or ban it. Because if you get rid of this Omnimon, Jesmon loses that potential final punch. The final punch in most Jesmon builds is this guy, is this Omnimon. If you get rid of it, they've lost that final punch. They can't really truly OTK unless they've set their board right, which means they're probably a turn or two behind on their OTK, which slows them down indirectly. So you get rid of the Omnimon, which is the final punch, without damaging the Savior Hook, without essentially killing the deck. It's an interesting theory. I kind of like it. It would be interesting to see. Remember, guys, these last 3 cards are cards I'd like to see, or people I know would like to see on the list or off the list. But there's one card that I forgot to put on here. I'm going to go to it now. The card is quite simple. It is this asshole. Blinding Ray. Blinding Ray is a powerful card. Very powerful. No yellow decks use it at the moment. But the fact that this card exists in the game is too strong. It worries me. And worries quite a few people I know. As this card, right here, can single-handedly make it impossible for some people to play the game. Or extend a yellow player's turn to the point of like, okay, when is it my turn now? And the fact that it's like, okay, I get rid of the top card of my security, then I gain 2 memory. Extending your turn. But then if you have more cards in the future that work like Dynasmon, for example, that say whenever a card is removed from your security, do a thing like gain a security back, or what is it? Or gain a memory with the new BT8 Tamer that comes out. New carry, come here. Then we have some interesting plays to think about. Then we have some genuinely interesting plays. Because you get rid of that security, gain 2 off Blinding Ray, gain 1 off carry, gain security back off of Dynasmon. Interesting, very interesting plays could be made from this card. Now, I said at the start, or near the start, there's a deck or archetype of cards that are not on my immediate shit list because I want to play them. They are on a lot of players' immediate. Oh god, I am scared. Why is this coming out? And I will show you. It is this deck. D-Reaper. This one deck, after being released for like 2-3 days, has topped so many locals in Japan. It can kill you in 1 turn. Has a bit of setup, but the problem is, Mother D Reaper, the main playmaker of the entire deck, the thing that makes the entire deck run, because everything relates to her, you cannot interact with her. It is impossible to interact with her. And the moment she starts building ADR2s, Zero Searchers, which is probably their 2nd turn, they have got 1 of those in. Potentially 2 of those in. You are not hurting her. Because she will be at 16-17 DP. 16-17k DP. Impossible to deal with. Impossible. There are no real combos that are efficient enough to deal with her. You have to bum rush their security. And even then, if you bum rush their security, they might reveal some of their really good security cards. Or you might put more ADR02 searches in their bin. Or you might put other good stuff in their bin. That they're like, okay, cool. I have other stuff in my bin. I'm going to play this out and do all this crazy stuff. I'm going to play my goddamn Reaper. Look, there's some more searches in the bin. I don't have to worry so much about dropping her cost. Dropping cost to 0 because there's 7 under her. I can play this for quite a bit of memory, use the discount off of D Reaper, off of Mother D Reaper, and do stuff. It's terrifying. I'm playing this deck, by the way. If this doesn't get hit, I'm playing it. If it does get hit, I'm playing it, because I like the idea of the deck. It's so stupid. It's really stupid. This card, this deck is one to watch. You can quote me on this now. D-Reaper is a deck to watch, because it has all the requirements of a really powerful deck. You can't interact with it, because you can't affect Mother D-Reaper. all their Digimon don't have a level, so any effect that deletes off of level basis doesn't work on them. They all get really, really big, really quick because of ADR02 Searcher's inheritable. And I think, pardon me, if memory serves, that's an all turns effect. No, it's a your turn effect. Okay, so your turn, they get bigger. Opponent's turn, they're not as big. On your opponent's turn, the person fighting D Reaper, you have the chance to deal with them. You have the chance, but it's not going to be very often, and you probably will not do it because they're that strong. And as I said, all of them don't have levels, meaning you can't interact with them. And Gatekeeper, a blanket no to your opponent, a blanket no to my security -1. Just going, yeah, security -1 if Mother D Reaper has 6 Digivolution sources, which is quite easy to get, might I add, quite quickly. And Reaper just being like, cool, I can end the game on my turn now. It's crazy. This deck is crazy. This is the deck to watch, I think. So, yeah, guys, that's my ban list prediction for January, for Japanese format. For us, we'll probably get the same bans, or we might get something slightly different, but I doubt it. I doubt it. So, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and that is the Digital Gate is now closed.